Hey guys, can you hear me? Hello. All right, perfect. Perfect. Okay. Might be a little bit of a lag, a little bit of a delay, but that's okay. We'll work with it. We'll work with it. That's what we do. That's what we do here at New Record Day. What are you guys up to tonight? What day is it? Oh, it's Tuesday. What do audiophiles do on Tuesday evenings? I know we're not watching football or basketball. Is it even basketball season right now? Like, what the heck do I know? Homework. What's up, David? Ashley, Craig, Robert. Ah, cooking. Yeah, I love cooking. What are you cooking up? Dude, yeah. Coronavirus. Oh my goodness sakes. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but I guess Expona has been delayed. I think they're shooting for August now, which is a bummer. Um, I was planning on going. I didn't buy any plane tickets yet, thank goodness. Um, Man, yeah, such a bummer. Such a bummer. Munich was completely canceled and now Expona is delayed. Sucks. So, yes, for sure. If they happen to, make it work in August and that's green lit and still a go at that point, then yeah, for sure I'll be going. Um, David, were you at Expona last year? Were you there at the show? It's kind of a cool venue. I like Expona. I mean, the rooms are challenging because they got those freaking desks on the side, the media desks, which I'm not a big fan of. But um, I like navigating that venue. You know how it's like you can just kind of walk the balconies on all the different floors, and you can kind of see, all the different rooms and kind of where you want to go. So I like that venue a lot for that reason. Yeah, awesome, David. You should definitely go. It's a lot of fun. Let's see, we got 29 in here. We'll wait a little bit longer before we kind of get things going. Um, you guys watch the teardown of the S400s there? Kind of an interesting video. I kind of like doing that. That was a lot of fun. Oh, one thing I wanted to ask, I'm not sure how this looks on your guys' end, but whenever I've been setting up this camera to do the live streams, I'm always like washed out and I've been trying to fix the contrast. Am I looking proper? Is the contrast good? Everything look clean on your guys' end? Awesome. Perfect. Okay, good to hear it. Very handsome. You sly guy, you son of a gun. Looks blurry, but audio is good. Okay, that's fine. I can I can I can work with that. Um Hey Jeremy, how's it going, man? Glad to be here. Greetings, Ron. Dan, greetings to you, my friend. Was a little surprised how it measured. Um, Keep in mind with those measurements that I'm using a 5 dB scale, the window, so it's like we're really zoomed in on that speaker. So, um, going by memory, I mean, it's certainly not a bad measuring speaker by any means. Talking about just the frequency response, it's a little bit jagged, but I've seen a lot worse. I can tell you that. Yeah. Anybody here haven't ever had a ear infection? So that's how it all started for me. Is I had an ear infection in my right ear. This was around the time that I went to Texas to visit Danny and listen to all of his rig. And that entire time, my right ear was pretty much clogged up and infected. And when I got back, I went to the doctor and urgent care. And as you guys know, they ask you, "Hey, are you allergic to any antibiotics or any medications?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm allergic to penicillin. Do not put me on penicillin." And they put me on amoxicillin, which uh, later I found out that it's pretty much the same thing as penicillin. And so within a few days, I broke out in hives and my body rejected the antibiotics, of course. And I got even more sick. I got really crazy sick, actually. So, what was an ear infection then turned into what you guys heard in those videos, which was all this crazy, like cold like symptoms. And I was falling apart. So, uh, finally, Sarah was just like, We're done with this. You go back to the freaking urgent care. You figure this out." And I went back and they set me straight. They're like, "Look, if you break out in hives and that's your body rejecting the medication, it did squat for you." And so they put me on good antibiotics and everything was cleared up. So, yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's, Google AX. That's exactly what the doctor said, is they're like, "That's in the same umbrella of medicine," like, for them to it's like, "Oh, okay, that's poison. Well, here's some other poison for you. Take 2 and call us in the morning." And, yeah, you guys should have seen I should have actually, like, posted a picture because it's crazy, like, I had all these red dots all over my body. I mean, it was crazy. So yeah, super fun. But the worst part for me, I, I'm an audiophile, is my freaking ear was clogged. Like, of all of the things that I was dealing with, I was the most pissed off at the fact that I can't listen. I can't listen. This is driving me crazy. So yeah. Oh, hey Dave, Arizonan. All right. All right. Cool, cool. Dave, where are you at? What city are you in? Santan Valley. Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, hey, if you ever want to stop by, just reach out to me. We can listen together and you can check out the rigs and whatever you want to do, man. I'm totally down with that. I had this I shouldn't be saying this. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. What the heck? I don't care. I have this local reviewer though that has these speakers that he wants me to check out, and I totally want to check him out. But when I watch his YouTube videos, I maybe I'm missing the punchline, but he wears like this suit, this green suit. I can't make this up. It's actually covering his face, so you can't see his face. It's just all green. He puts glasses on and he's like, "Yeah, this is my review of these speakers." I'm like, "Okay. All right. Different folks, different strokes." I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what I just watched. But he's got these Gershman Studio 2s. I guess those have been kind of making the rounds here recently on YouTube. And I've never checked out Gershman acoustics, and he wants me to hear these speakers. So yeah, we might end up doing that. That's nothing, Ron. I had tympanoplasty, and my ear was 100% blocked for 4 weeks. Ah, oh my gosh. I would cut my head off. Oh, oh, that is, dude, that just makes my skin crawl. Still have this little bit of a cough. Yeah. Um, I guess that chopping your head off would be a little bit over the top, wouldn't it? Let me turn off my notifications here on my phone so I'm not being bombarded here. So yeah, we got 44 in here. That's decent. Let's uh let's get some questions going, guys. I want to help you out. That's what these videos are for. So, what you got? You don't need to super chat or anything crazy like that. Obviously, if you do, that's very kind of you. I appreciate it, but I'm here to help. So, you got me. What do you want to know? Um, those Manleys. Oh, I kind of hate this job at times because it's like I'm I'm not even the kid that goes into the candy store. The candy store comes to me, and I get to play with all this crazy stuff that I certainly cannot afford. Oh, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Here we are in 2020, and we have these 300B amps made by Manley. And the fact that you can change in 10 decibel increments the negative feedback that is being applied to that amp, why that is not an option on every single amplifier. It is freaking amazing. Oh, I love it. It's amazing. Uh, all right, let's see here. Derek is asking, the new Golden Ear bookshelf speakers are called the Digital Active. Asked you about it the other day on the Hi-Fi call-in. Sorry, I didn't have the model name. Okay. I remember you, Derek, mentioning this, and you caught my attention. Are they on their website? Because I've been back there a couple of times and I'm not seeing anything. I do have connections with Sandy Gross specifically. So if you guys want me to review those, that's an email away. I can just be like, hey, yo, Sandy, now send those to me. And he totally would. Um, so I love the Golden Ear stuff. I think it's priced right, and I think you get a lot of performance. And one thing that I like about the way that those speakers are voiced is I'm not in love with air motion tweeters. I don't know about you guys. I mean, if you are, that's cool. But, and it's not because they sound bad. I think what it is in most applications, they call attention to themselves. So it's like, I know there's a tweeter right there, and that drives me crazy. Not so with the golden ears. So he's figured out a way to wrestle those air motion tweeters down to the ground, and it's a seamless transition, and the guy knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. So, Paul, thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro. Do you have any opinion on the Yamaha DSP A970? No, I could look it up for you. I don't even know what the heck that is, seeing that it has DSP in the name. I'm assuming that I'm going to look at something that is digital. I do not poo poo anything digital, as you guys know. I'm open minded about it. If it sounds good, then it sounds good, and that's the way I roll here. Let's just see here. Is that an Oh, this thing's old. Is this thing old? Huh. Hey, Aiden, let me know. Is this like an older? I feel like I'm looking at something from the 80s, maybe. I'm not positive. Help me out with that. Let me just see here. Manly, can you run Class A and Class AB? I will find out for you. Chris, I don't want to answer that right now because I don't know the answer to that. I do know that you can run single ended and push pull. Whether or not I think single ended is always class A. I believe anybody in here that's smarter than me, they might be able to do a quick fact check. All of you, well, there's 44 people in here. 44 people in here are smarter than me. You guys can do a fact check. But I think single ended is always class A. Push pull, on the other hand, I believe can be class A or class AB, but I'm not positive about that. I'm not sure. Um, Still recommended the Yamaha AS2100 over the current crop of integrates you've heard recently. Gavin, the answer to that question is yes. And it kind of sucks because that was kind of like at a high point of New Record Day back in the day. Things were kind of being cranked out, and I had a great contact, PR agency contact through Yamaha, and then he quit, and then I lost contact with Yamaha and start like trying to get the door open with a big company like that. It has challenges. It's almost like you just got to get one person to listen to you, and then you work with that person, and then if you lose that connection, then you're starting all over again, and it kind of sucks. But the good news is I got a new contact. So, um, Yamaha stuff is going to be making its way back to the channel, and I'm going to play around with I think their mid-priced integrated amps, receivers, and I'll try to get my hands on some of the big boys because why the heck not? But yes, the 2100 was a fantastic, fantastic integrated amplifier. All right. Aiden is asking, this is a broad question, but do you have any recommendations for a beginner hi-fi setup? Oh my goodness sakes. I have records I want to listen, but not on my crappy Target record player. Good. Don't. And I'm not trying to poo-poo it for sound quality or anything like that. I'm more concerned about the fact that you might damage your records. A lot of the really cheap stuff, it's too much freaking weight on the record, and you're just going to be digging freaking permanent grooves in your records, and records are expensive. So please don't do that. Get yourself a proper turntable. Um, if you're looking, Aiden, if you're looking for something on a budget, then I would jump on over to U-Turn Audio. They have really affordable turntables that would probably beat the crap out of anything that you're going to get at Target. And if you want to bump up from there, then I would say most of us that are into vinyl are going to point you in the direction of um, maybe a Riga or maybe like one of the entry level projects. The Project Carbon comes to mind, which I've used. Music Hall makes basically the same turntable as well as the Carbons. It's just rebadged. Um, but those decks are fine, bro, and you'd be blown away by the performance that you're gonna get out of them, and best of all, you're gonna be able to control the weight that is slamming down on those records, and it won't be slamming down on your records. So, that's my recommendation. Alright, let's see here. Here's a real suggestion. I want to see you review Rune. I'm a digital guy, all chord. Paul, I've been using Rune for a couple of years. It was like, "What? Ron, how dare you?" Yeah, so the rack that you guys have seen in my videos, there's a secret. I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. This is like, Ron exposed, I guess now. Underneath one of the shelves, there's always been a Mac Mini sitting there, and that is my Rune Core, and, guess what? I like Rune a lot. I like to get lost in there. I have Qobuz connected, and I have Tidal connected, and it's great just to find new stuff and just to kind of look. I mean, I'm a dad with 3 kids now, so playing a record is like traveling to Mordor, man. It's like, oh, well, that's an adventure. How about if I just press this and start listening to music instead? So yeah, dude, Rune is awesome. Um, I'm getting ready to release a review of the NADM10, and I do some touch points on all things digital, including runes. So I hint at the fact that I like it in that review. Let's see here. Derek is asking, what's a great starter servo subwoofer? Excuse me. Um, you want to head over to GR Research, grresearch.com, and you're going to want to pick up whatever Danny tells you to pick up. It's going to sell like I'm trying to sell GR Research. I'm a customer. Dan, I've never made a dime off of any of the kits from GR Research or anything like that. We don't have any kind of weird relationship like that. I genuinely believe that those subwoofers are the cat's pajamas. They're insane. So if you're looking for a great direct servo subwoofer, that's where I'm going to point you. A I haven't heard the stuff from Rhythmic. I know that they use a lot of aluminum cones for their drivers, so you can explore that as well. Just keep in mind, you're asking Ron from New Record Day his opinion, and my opinion has pretty much, as you guys know, been unwavering that when it comes to subwoofer drivers and pretty much all drivers, I like paper cone drivers. Those are my favorite. I feel like the texture and the tone is the most natural sounding, and that's what you're going to get if you decide to go with GR Research. Paul says 2100 is fantastic. Paul, you are correct. Um, cheapest but most effective way of setting up azimuth. There's that Fosgate thing, that azimuth Fosgate Fosgo-meter. I've had two of them. I bought one. I used it a couple of times. I sold it, and I was like, "Dang it! Why did I sell that? I need it." Yeah, the Fos. I think it's the Fosgo-meter. Do a Google search. It's made by Jim Fosgate. From Rockford Fosgate. It's made by that guy. I guess he's like a brilliant dude that designs a bunch of really cool stuff. Um. Oh, Jeremy, I did not know that they raised the price to Rune. You should start a YouTube channel and oh man, you guys are cranking them out now. Okay. I got to try to stop blabbering so much and get rolling here. Okay. Any update on the Mac Mini music server? I've been talking to Eric from DB Audio Labs, and he is cooking one up for me right now. And what's going to be sweet about this is I already have a Mac Mini stock, and he's going to send me this upgraded Mac Mini, and I'll be able to do a shootout. And you guys know me. They don't get a free pass. It's like if this thing doesn't do well, then I'm going to say it, and that's that. But knowing what I heard at Danny's and hearing what I heard at Danny's, I have nothing but confidence that that thing is going to be superior to my stock Mac Mini in every way. And I'm totally excited. I already have the big freaking battery that I need to be able to run it battery powered. Those things are heavy and they're freaking expensive, but I'm committed to this. I'm committed to giving this thing a shot, and I'm excited to check out a Mac Mini, an upgraded Mac Mini as my source. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh yeah, talk about the Mac Mini server. I kind of did. There's a lot of cool things that they do. I'm going to be frank with you guys. When I first heard about the Mac Mini modifications and all the stuff that they are doing at DB Audio Labs like a year ago, I read over it and I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, changing RAM, changing hard drives, that's not going to do squat. But here's the thing, when you hear it, then everything changes. And it's like, well, crap, I guess maybe either everything like combined matters or they tried a whole bunch of stuff and one thing matters more than the other. Who knows? And it's where I just stop asking questions. It's like, okay, clearly you figured something out. And whether it's just the fact that it's battery powered or you're altering the operating system to run it more streamlined or you're changing out RAM or hard drives. I don't know. I don't know the technical answer to those questions. All I can do is report what I hear, and that is Danny's rig ripped my head off. Like I could not believe how much better his NX with the stock caps, with the stock circuit, it sounded better than mine, and mine has all the upgraded gizmos, and I've got a freaking $10,000, Leo, and it's like, how, what you can see, right? You can clearly see it broke my brain, and so when you hear something like that, you're just like, okay, maybe it doesn't need to be explained. Let's just give this a go and try it out. So I'm excited. Eagle lamps. Yes, I I I really want to check out their stuff a lot. I'm gonna reach out to them. Thank you for reminding me again. I got to send them an email. Let me just see here. If I send you a Carolina Reaper pepper chip, will you try it on camera with milk on hand? Jeremy, yes. The answer is yes. I'd be happy to do that. JMP Smash, what's your audio recording chain for your videos? Sometimes you have a mic, sometimes you don't. Do you treat your room? Um, this studio, this studio might look big. It might look like, wow, he's like in a studio. It's laughable. I'm not kidding you. I'm in the corner of our bedroom, like the corner of our bedroom. And if you could see, like if you walked in, you'd be like, oh, that's new record day. That's the best he could do, huh? But I'm so grateful for it. So is it treated? There is carpet underneath me, and I do have some panels off over here because there's a sliding glass door right here. And the recording chain is this is the Rodecaster Pro. This is like a podcasting mixer station, if you will. And so my microphone goes in here. It has a whole bunch of great built-in effects, and then I do balance connections directly from the line out of this guy into my big boy camera. That's a Canon C200 that accepts balanced inputs. And there we go. And then, like you said, anytime that I want to use this mic and monitor my audio, I can do that. And there really is no rhyme or reason. I think this is kind of just, how do I say this? It's weird talking into a camera. I mean, I know that I'm talking to all of you guys. It's just strange, and for me, there's an added comfort whenever I have headphones on and I'm hearing myself. I feel more connected. I don't know how else to describe it. If you ever do a podcast or something like that and you're able to hear your own voice, and there's just something about it that for me I just find comforting. And then if I do a review, then I don't want a freaking microphone here the entire time. I feel like that's not all that professional. And so I'll hook up the boom mic or the shotgun mic and do it that way. I'm on board with GR Research. Love their speaker designs. Awesome, Derek. Go see Danny. He will take care of you. Have you ever considered using something like the new Mo2 M2 M4 as a hi-fi DAC? They are quite affordable and use quality Saber DACs. Taylor, yes and no. I actually have quite a bit of the Apogee stuff, and I have used that for hi-fi purposes, and they have DACs that measure very, very well. And that's in essence what a Saber DAC is going to get you is really clean measurements. Does that always equate to a sound that I'm personally looking for? Not always. I'm not going to dive into this too deep, but you should explore it because you might totally love it. So I do encourage you to at least give it a try. If you're saying, "Hey, I've got one laying around, Ron, should I give it a go?" The answer is yes, you should, and just explore it and see if you enjoy it. Let me just see here. Will you ever review a set of Genelix? I understand they aren't considered mainstream hi-fi. Sure. Yeah. I'll uh I'll mark that and send off an email. Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. Dolby Pro Logic. Jim Fosgate did Dolby Pro Logic. I didn't know. I didn't know that. Rune will be monthly only soon. Do it while you can, guys. Paul, thank you for that heads up. I'm seeing some notes on here that I froze for a second. Am I good now? Everything's hopefully fine. I'm just making my way through the comments, and you guys are probably far ahead of me, but yeah. All right. Has Danny had his hands on your SVS bookshelves yet? Sounds dirty. No, he hasn't. I don't send any of my speakers to Danny. Danny gets speakers from customers that want upgrades, and that's totally cool. Around the time that he did the modifications for the Klipsch RP600M, it just so happened that I had my own pair that came in for review. Um, but yeah, I don't. I'm when I do them, I actually already have the measurements of the SVS Ultras, so I know how they measure, and I'm gonna do a teardown next of those. So that will be coming out soon, and I'll share, my measurements. And yeah, Hey, longtime fan, cue a product you expected to be trash but ended up loving. Product you expected to love that you ended up not liking or hating. All right, Jarek. Okay, a product that I expected to be trash but ended up loving. Trash is a pretty harsh word. Um, my time is important to me, and I try to find stuff that I think has a good chance of being decent, especially nowadays. Um, I will say this. When I reached out for the NAD M10, and that review is literally right around the corner, um, I knew it would be interesting. I thought it would be pretty good, and it's it's been quite incredible. The features that are packed into that little thing. Let me say it like this. That is the first amplifier that I've had in house where it genuinely feels like it is an integrated amplifier from the future. It's like, wow, you guys really pushed it. And they're always updating the Blue OS operating system. And it seems to me that like monthly, it's just getting better and better. So that little box, it's good. Is there anything that I expected to love that I ended up not liking or hating? Um, again, pretty strong words. Not really. I mean, part of my job, I think I can only count one time that I set up some speakers and I couldn't enjoy them. And look, there's a lot of people that like them. I don't even mind mentioning they're the ohms, the ohm Walsh. I think they were the 1000s. Those were sent out to me while I was in the old house, and I set them up, and I just nope, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't even figure out a way to try to unpack that review and find things that I can celebrate. It was very difficult for me, and I worked with them. They were very kind and very generous and super patient with me. And they were like, "Hey, try this, try that." But I got it, just not my thing. For me, no matter what I tried, the staging on that speaker was very diffused, especially the center image. It was just not coherent. It was just too diffused, and it drove me crazy. Let's see here. Trey, what's up, homie? All right, Gavin, have you ever heard any tube DACs worth mentioning? Yes, I have. What is the freaking name of that company? Lampezator? Lampos something weird. European, German, I'm not positive. Lampazators, whatever. Every time I've heard those DACs, and now keep in mind, this has been at shows and show environments in rooms I don't live in with other equipment that I don't know. So I'm kind of talking out of my rear end right now. But if that DAC was doing something in that chain, if what I was hearing was a result of the tone of those DACs, then I would say I'm a big fan of those. I like those a lot. I've also heard the Border Patrol DAC, which doesn't measure very well, but it sure does sound good. And that guy has a tube in it. Do you listen to the Gummy Bear song regularly or just sometimes? I don't know the Gummy Bear song. Yeah, I don't know. Serious audio question. How have the new Ligma mics impacted the audio market? And do you think the built-in subwoofer has made the price bad? I actually don't know what you're talking about at all. If somebody wants to jump in and expand that, then yeah, let me know. You guys are talking about the M10. The M10 is awesome. Here's the thing. One of the things that I wanted to mess around with the specifically with the M10 was Dirac Live. And the reason I wanted to mess with it is back in the day. Oh, easy there, killer. Back in the day, I did mess around even before New Record Day with, do you guys remember D Speaker or what was the other one? There was another room, DSP. I can't remember it. Anyways, doesn't matter. There was some room correction hardware devices, and I'm going to say it, they sucked. They were terrible. Yeah, they might do something on access where, you know, wherever you actually did the correction, it was fine. But man, as soon as you moved off even a little bit, you move your head at all, it just falls apart. And for me, it just kind of choked out everything that was beautiful in the music. And with Dirac, which I'll be talking about in the M10 review, mm, it's as good as I've heard. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But it has this feature where you can set up curtains. So you can say, hey, I only want you to treat, lower frequencies, which I love. And I want you to leave everything else alone. And that's how I run it in my room whenever I'm listening to the M10. And I got to say that I can live with. I dig it. And so, yeah, it's cool. How's the shit Bifrost 2? It's good. Um Actually I got to send it in for some repairs. The on the back, one of the RCA female plugs, it's not accepting an RCA jack. I can only This is going to sound dirty. I can only get it in halfway. Gentlemen, calm down. And yeah, so something's wrong with it, and I don't know if it's just whatever. It is what it is. But prior to this little mishap, and this just recently happened. Funny that you're asking. I do like the Bifrost. I find it to sound eerily similar to what I think is happening within the Leo. So the DAC within the Leo, again, was a $10,000 integrated amplifier with a built-in DAC, and it's got ultra caps, and it's a really smart piece. Yes, I'm comparing the Bifrost to what I'm hearing inside of the Leo, and when I go back and forth and I listen, and I either listen in quick A/B segments or I listen over the long haul and then I make the switch, I've been surprised at how similar those 2 sound. And for me, the way that I've always thought that the Leo's digital section sounds is very balanced. I think that um what Vinny Rossi did was, I can make this ultra clean, squeaky clean with tons and tons of detail, or I can make it kind of analog and tubey sounding, or analog plus tubey sounding, or I can hit somewhere in the middle of that. And I feel like that's what he did, in my opinion, in my subjective opinion, after owning the Leo for so many years. That's where I'm landing with it. And with the Bifrost, I kind of feel like they might be landing around the same page. Is I feel like it's a very even-handed, balanced sounding DAC from what I hear so far. What brand is the M10 NAD? Yeah, Jeremy. Oh, digital math. I know. It is. And I think even the front end I think it's all digital. It's like digital front end, digital volume. You gotta just be like, okay, we're getting into digital. And so, yeah. Have you considered reviewing the new L100s? Is that the Polks? Um, I'm not sure if I should even jump into this. Did you guys see what Andrew had to say about the L800s? Watched his review. It was interesting, and I actually appreciated it. I heard the L800s. I'm talking about the L800s for a reason. I'm going somewhere with this. Heard them at Rocky Mountain Audio Fest, and they blew my mind. Um, but that's in a show environment, and they've got a perfect line of chairs, and they tell you where to sit, and they play their music, and that's how the circus sometimes goes at the shows. But it doesn't take away anything from what I heard in those speakers, which was pretty remarkable. And Andrew Robinson did a review of him in his home, and he doesn't have a symmetrical room, and it sounded like he was having to use the balance control on one of the amps. And I'm sitting there listening to this and I'm watching this review and I'm like, man, this guy's sweating it out because he's not in a symmetrical room and he's kind of trying to get these things to work in a room where I'm sitting there going, I don't know if they really belong in there, but let's see what we can do with it. And I think he did a fine job of just basically saying, these aren't for every single room. I mean, you gotta have the right environment perhaps to get these things to do what they do best. Now, I don't know if this is gonna happen, but there are whisperings, I guess. There's whisperings of maybe a potential review here at New Record of the L800s. I would love it if we could make that happen because I have a symmetrical room and I don't use balance knobs because I don't need to. So it'd be interesting to find out if where I land, where I land my plane is on the same runway as Mr. Robinson. That'd be interesting to find out. In regards to the L100s, if you guys want me to review them, I'd be happy to reach out to Polk Sound United, and I'm sure they'd be happy to send me a pair. Okay, here we go. Question one of many: vinyl versus digital for detail. All right, next question. um, I need to do a video about that because there's a misconception of, listen, vinyl can't reach as high as digital. True. And therefore, vinyl can't produce the same level of detail as digital. Eh, hold on there, buckaroo. I think it depends on what your definition is of detail. And I think it depends on where that detail resides within the music. Because let me tell you something. I've heard some records that produce detail. It could be the room characteristics, the size of the room, the decay of certain notes of an electric guitar, of the way that something is bouncing off of a wall that I don't hear in that same recording digitally. It's not there. It's like it just can't do that. On the other hand, there are many situations where I hear the opposite, but in different frequencies, in different areas where digital is able to do things that vinyl can't do. And so this is where I learned to kind of be at peace with both. I think both formats have some strengths. Both formats have a lot of things that they can do really well. And I think that it comes down to what detail are we talking about? We need to be specific. I don't think that there is no black and white answers when it comes to this stuff. And I think that audiophiles get stuck in this mindset of it's either A or it's B. And guess what? Sometimes there's a C and you're just neglecting it. So consider C, not A or B. Let me just see here. Cornwall fours arrived today. Would be nice to hear your opinion of them on them. I would love to check out more stuff from Klipsch. Hopefully that will happen in the future. Let me just see here. How do you think the Sprout 100 matches up with the Triangle BR3s? Are those the Bro 3s? I just reached out to them today to get in a pair because it seems like those are, eh, I don't know if they're going to start up the same hype train as these bad boys, but the Bro 3s are kind of making the rounds and it seems like a lot of people are digging them. I haven't heard them, so no comment. I'm not gonna BS with you. I have no idea. I would imagine that the Sprout 100 is gonna be able to do what it needs to do to wake up those speakers, but I don't know. All right, let's just see here. I know that I'm behind here, guys. I. It's important to me to be quality or to make sure that I'm answering your questions with quality and not just blowing over this stuff. So I'm sorry that I'm a little bit behind. I'm doing the best I can here. Let me just see here. Cord DAC, any experience listening? Yes, I bought a Cord Cutis and it died on me, and that was a sad day. ATC speakers are lovely sounding speakers, pretty robust in the mid band. So that's going to be for some people. It's going to be, I mean, it's that sound. They've got a big fat mid band, and I like that. Let me just see here. Planning on upgrades to the JBL 530s you reviewed. Hey, Joshua Valor, what's up, buddy? Um, so I wanted Danny to do that, very much so, and I was being selfish because I was like, "Hey, man, I got a pair of these. Would you do the upgrade for me?" Wink, wink. And he's like, "I just gotten a pair. Let me see what I can do." And he couldn't figure out how to take them apart. And I was like, "No, no, this sucks." And he's like, "Dude, there's like no room inside that speaker. I can't get the thing apart. It looks like they're just made to be thrown away." Well, that answer does not sit well with Ron from New Record Days. So that night, I spent a good hour, hour and a half of trying to figure out how to take these stupid things apart, and I figured it out. So soon, I'm going to be releasing a video of how to take apart your Studio 530s for those that are adventurous and you want to do that. And if we get enough backing, if we get enough people that are saying, "Yeah, I can do this. I can totally do this," then I will revisit this idea with Danny and be like, "All right, man, can you do something with this now? Now that people are saying, yeah, we can handle this, we can do it." It's a little tricky and it's a little scary to take that speaker apart. So I want to show you guys how to do it and how to do it well without jacking things up because that would suck. Let me just see here. The polks are phase dependent. Exactly. So as soon as I heard like balance knobs, and this was something that actually Joey from Joe and Tell pointed out as well, is as soon as I hear balance knobs, it's like, oh, okay, that's going to be a problem. Like that's going to be a problem. Anyways, Ron is really good at miking stuff, emailing mic stuff. Okay. Yeah, no question there. New question: would you visit Bristol Audio Show? Paul, I would love to, man. I would love to get out to Europe. It's a little bit difficult right now, but yes, I would love to. What music are you listening to in the past week? Stuff you liked or didn't like, stuff you can recommend. Jarek, I really haven't been listening to anything new, to be honest with you. I've been kind of going through just the same old stuff, which is my own new record day playlist. And I'll need to get that out to you guys here pretty soon. It's just stuff that excuse me, guys, that I play over and over and over again, and I train my ears to just this is what I need to be listening for, and that's when I'm going into like work mode, and I'm trying to listen to that stuff. Let me just see here. Oh, JBL L100 Classic. Oh, okay, okay. Those are those old school looking speakers. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. Sorry for the mistake. There I was like rambling about Polk speakers that entire time. I'm an idiot. Question: Class AB monoblocks Outlaw or the Pro Audio Class D? Do you think the monos with a digital front end, such as PS Audio, could be a great match? Trey, I don't. Maybe. Yes. You're asking tough questions because I haven't heard the Outlaw monoblocks. I do know which ones you're referring to, and I like the price, I like the form, I like the function, and I've seen those go on eBay for pretty cheap, so might be a safe bet. I know that they measure well. I've seen that through, I think Audio Science did some measurements on them, and they came out great. So if you're a measurement guy and you care, let me just see here. Yeah, the L100s I'm very interested in checking out now. So I will do my due diligence on that. Have I heard Soundsmith strain gauge cartridges? No, I haven't. Only it shows, and I've been blown away by how they sound. So I think they're probably very good. Um, Jeremy says, I've never heard digital come close to the resolution of vinyl, but digital has detail that draws attention. Unnatural to me. Jeremy, we could be basically saying the same thing, just in different ways. It's possible. What the FAQ, dude? You are 10 minutes behind. Hoodcat, thank you for the reminder. I appreciate it. I don't know about Game Changer, but they sound pretty good. Pricey though. Let's see here. Andrew JBL one. Yeah, I'm familiar now. So I don't have any contacts through JBL, but I should be able to get that door open pretty easily at this point. Um, I've heard $250,000 systems drive me insane with surface noise, can't handle anything but clean. Yeah, man. Clean your records. I, I go to these shows and just like you're saying, it's like you have a freaking system in here that is literally like as much as a house, and all I'm hearing is pops and clicks. Did you forget to clean your record before you put it? It's I don't I I don't get it. I don't understand it. What's the best sounding value DAC you have heard up to this time or up to this point? Um, I have done some DAC shootouts, and I do not have a favorite right now. I am being guided by the same digital wizards that helped Danny out with his digital front end. That is Eric at DB Audio Labs, and he is sending me an older DAC. He didn't want to send this to me. He's like, Ron, you're a reviewer. You should have something that can do native DSD and high resolution and blah blah blah. And to that I said, I don't give a crap. I really don't. I can deal with the comments section. I don't care. Send me something that sounds great. And if it's Redbook, if it's 16-bit, 44.1, 44, 48, I don't care. I really don't. I'm not one of those reviewers that puts my nose up to anything that's Redbook. I think that Redbook can sound amazing. It's all about how is it mixed? How is it mastered? That's the bottom line. And but yeah, I'll keep you informed. He's sending me, it's called the Tranquility DAC. It's an older DAC, and that was by my request. I want to hear it, and we'll go, from there. Let me just see here. Looks like you guys are chatting amongst each other. Um, Man, holy cow, 60 people in here. All right, let's just see. I have a pair of the JBL 530s in the box waiting for upgrades video. Awesome. I'll keep you informed. Okay, cool. Let me just see here. JBL 100s are terrible. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll see. Uh, haven't heard a lot of DAC lately. Bought PS Audio Direct Stream, but that's far from budget. Shit's supposed to be good value, but I really don't know. I actually have the PS Audio Direct Stream in for review right now, and I've been listening to it. It's a fine sounding DAC. Uh, I would be foolish to try to unpack some of my first impressions right now because I haven't spent enough time with it. I think there was a guy on one of these chats that said it needs 600 hours of burn-in time. Oh, I'm laughing because I'm just sitting here going, "What?" So I'm gonna be 90 when I get to the review. You guys know new record day. I'll be 90 when that review hits. You guys won't even be here anymore. Um, Man. Anyways, that to me is an interesting sounding DAC, and I don't know. I need to find out. I need to do some fact checking to find out, was PS Audio going for a certain sound? Were they moving in the direction of, can we get this thing to sound as analog as we think analog sounds, or Tubi as Tubi sounds? I don't know, because that's kind of the direction that I'm kind of going with that particular DAC. Is yes, it does provide a decent amount of detail, but what I'm actually hearing is the engagement that reminds me of analog. So that's interesting. Let's just see here. Experience with monitor audio. I have a pair of floor standing monitor audio silver 5 eyes that I'm really impressed with. Jarek, a little bit. An old friend of mine actually had some monitor audio speakers and brought them over. We listened to them, and I enjoyed them. I liked them. I thought they were cool. Swan speakers, yes, David. I have a history with Swan speakers. Back in the day, before I did the channel, a long time ago, I had the what is it? The Swan multimedia Mark whatevers. Yeah. Nice sounding stuff. Actually, I think the Swan stuff sounds good. I haven't heard any of their big boy stuff, so I'm that's pretty much where it ends. But I am familiar with Swan, and yes, I've owned some of their stuff. Are you planning on reviewing Klipsch RP600s? They're down at the floor here, and I I I believe that review is a go. I got to find out a couple of things here from Klipsch before I commit to that. But yeah, I do believe that there's a good chance that I'll be reviewing those. Um, let's just see. Oh, am I caught up to you guys? Whoo! Oh, I did it. Hey guys, if I missed any important questions, please repeat. I tried to shoot down here as quick as I can. Um, oh, we're getting into cleaning records. Oh, this is going to turn into a brawl real quick. I can promise you that. Do speaker stands make a big difference? The answer, I'm not even going to read the rest of the question. Yes, they can. That's the key word. They can make a big difference. I have the P3 ESR's 40th anniversary model, and I'm interested in the $1,500 Ton Traeger stands. My gut tells me they may be a waste of money. Um, Let me tell you something. $1,500 for speaker stands. I have a feeling you might be buying a functional stand that comes with a whole lot of jewelry that you might not need. Um, Actually, I'm looking at them. Yeah, look at that. Okay. So, German. Huh. Yeah, boy. Freaking expensive. Holy smokes, man. Um, that's a lot of quiche, bro. That's a lot of quiche. Maybe try. Here's an idea. I like the monoprice stands. I'm not joking. I can say that with a straight face. They're gonna be under $200 for the pair, and fill those up with kitty litter and try it. I might have just saved you a bunch of money. That seems like a smart way to start is, well, how do these sound? And if they sound great, then I think we're going to be splitting hairs on whether or not that additional money is going to get you that much better with these other fancy schmancy stands. Um, but what do I know? It's like every time I make blanket statements in hi-fi, I'm proven wrong later down the road. So it's like, oh, actually, those stands make a huge difference. Okay, well, I was an idiot. So I don't know, but if it was me, if it was my money, I would go with the mono price. I'd fill them up with kitty litter, and I would listen to it. And if it sounded great, then I would be done. That's what I would do. Izzy is busy. How old am I? Every time that somebody asks me in real life, well, this is real life. How old I am, I have to go and ask Sarah because I always forget. I think I'm 42. I'm not sure. I try to forget how old I am, so then I feel young at heart. Um, Do you have a contact with Cord? Cord Ultima 5 has my eye. Um, I don't really have a contact with Cord. There was I think they're through Bluebird Music is their main dealer here in the States. And so I may have to just reach out to them again. Um, yeah. Yeah. How old are you? I think I'm 42. I was born in 78. Somebody can do the math. Um, How many people do you know that can name every model of Marantz receivers? The answer is always at least one if you've been to a record store. Um, yeah, those older silver face Marantz receivers they've got a special place in my heart. Some of my earliest rigs I got those before the craze happened, before the prices got out of control with those things. And I think I picked mine up. I had a 2235 and it was, I want to say like $15 or $20. It's awesome. Have you tried Kimber cables? Not really, not a whole lot of experience. I tried some of their headphone cables in the past, but that was many, many years ago, but nothing recent. What is the point where diminishing return kicks in money wise? I'm thinking about 5K in used gear, generally speaking. 5K in used gear is going to get you, I think it can get you one heck of a setup. Where does it start? It kind of depends on the product. It depends on, what it is that we're talking about. Are we talking about diminishing returns in amplifiers? Are we talking about diminishing returns in speakers? Probably going to sound like a broken record. I think you should consider everything, including your room. I think that would be a good place to start. Don't neglect it. Don't spend all $5,000 on just the gear and put it in a crappy room. That's my or I shouldn't say it like that. Put it in a room that has no treatment. I think that being smart about some treatment is a good place to start. And then from there, moving into, okay, how do I divide up this leftover money and where should the bulk of this money go to? I would say next would be speakers. And then after that, you can decide source, preamp, power amp. That is a big debate. I'm not going to get into it because everybody knows that the source would be the next most important thing, and it's got to be a turntable. Oh man, I love trolling you guys. It's so much fun. Izzy is busy. I love this channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Laugh out loud. He missed it. What did I miss? Will you review the shit drizzle? The Yigger drizzle from Skahit Audio? You mean Skahit? Did you guys pay attention to the comments of that? I think that was my favorite review or Frequency Friday that I've ever done because people were losing their freaking minds. It's not Skahit Audio. You're an idiot. I actually had people emailing me like they were that upset. So follow along with me. They stopped the video before 7 minutes and then took the time to write an email to me telling me how awful. And I'm look, in those situations, I try to be really, really nice. I'm like, "Hey, man, just give me a call. Like, I can I'm not gonna even just please call me, and I'll tell you what." um, the Yigger is a Yigger drizzle. I'd be happy to review that, but I gotta do this stuff first. I can't just be like, "Hey, shit, just keep sending me more stuff," even though I'm not done with what you've already sent me. That doesn't work well. Um, let me just see here. Da, 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 da. How would you describe the difference between the sound of Lord Huron and Ben Howard vinyl versus CD streaming on your current rig? Um, boy, that's a good one. The Ben Howard cut is pretty noisy. I can't remember where it was cut. I don't know if it's United. I can't remember where it was cut, but it's got some pops and clicks in there. And I've actually back in the day, I had a couple of copies, and they were all the same. And so I don't know if the stamper was just giving up or the wax wasn't hot enough or whatever the deal was. Not the best cuts on that Ben Howard, and so there's always a trade-off. We're talking about dynamic range at that point, and how was it mastered for digital versus vinyl? And I think on the database for dynamic range, I think they're almost the same, close. If I remember correctly, I looked it up many years ago. The bottom line is this: with the Ben Howard, I think the digital sounds great. You're not dealing with that background noise, which I can appreciate. The Lord Huron, on the other hand, maybe I just got lucky with my personal copy there. It's dead quiet, and so for me, I reach for that, and it sounds freaking phenomenal. So it it sounds like vinyl. It sounds like analog. It brings you into the music, and you're engaged, and you are not distracted. That's how vinyl sounds to me, is that you are now engaged with what is happening in front of you. And I love that. Let me just see here. The danger in chasing the dragon. Yes, absolutely. That is definitely true. Oh, you guys are being funny. What is your opinion of the Yamaha M80? Let me look it up. I'm not familiar with it, unless it's what I think it is. If it is, then I'm about to start drooling. No, yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about the Yamaha M80. So this is like an older. Oh, wait a minute. I think I have heard this. I think this was like a thrift store find for one of my buddies, and excuse me, and I think he digs it. Uh, I can't commit to it. I'm not even sure if it's the same model, but that sure looks very familiar. Um, you have reviewed CSS and Danny's kits. Will you reach out to Maddie Sound and Parts Express to review some of their speaker kits? Dave, I have, and reviewing kits, like do-it-yourself kits, is rather difficult. That's tricky, and I understand it from their perspective of what if you don't know what you're doing? It's like that's a liability and expense for them where they might just be wasting their money, and so you do have to take that into consideration. And so kits from companies is rather tricky. CSS was an exception because they also offer fully built out speakers, and that's what they sent for me to review. Um, yeah, a lot of you guys are running Yamaha and Marantz. I'm glad that I've pulled you guys into my corner because I like both Yamaha and Marantz quite a bit. Do I have any pets? No. My kiddos are enough. We have had dogs in the past, but at this time, no, we do not have any pets. Um, I know I'm asking way too many. There's no too many questions, bro. I'm here to help you guys, so by all means, ask away. I know I'm asking way too many questions, but have you picked up any of the MoFi one-step box sets? If so, what do you think? Yes, I have, and they're glorious. I have the Santana one, and I have another. I forget which one it is, but yeah, um, they sound pretty dang good. Uh, I dig it. Um, I I would say this. Oh boy, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. But what the heck? I think that a lot of the quality record pressings, the QRP stuff that you can pick up at Acoustic Sounds, it's a lot cheaper. And man, I have gotten some freaking amazing records that are done over at QRP. So nowhere near the price. And for me, the bottom line is this: a lot of those records sound phenomenal. Like it's hard to imagine them getting much better than what I've heard. But yes, the one step stuff I've heard, and I like it. It sounds good to me. So, you like my hat? Cardis Audio. Yeah, me too. That actually caused some controversy, man. It was really funny. This was given to me. Oh my gosh, this was given to me at Expona last year. It was the first time meeting Angela from Cardis. Hello, Angela, if you're out there. And it's hilarious. I walked into the Ryan speakers room. You guys are gonna love this story. It's great. So I walked in there and it was like after hours, things were kind of dying down. And there was Trevor Ryan from Ryan Speakers just sitting there talking to Angela. And he's like, "Oh, hey, have you met Ron from New Record Day?" And she's like, "No, I don't think I have." And he's like, "Oh, cool. Well, yeah, he does a YouTube channel where he does reviews, and his mom really likes all of his videos." And I was like, "You sly guy! How dare you introduce me like that?" And she does like my videos. She comments on every single one of them. It's funny, man. Um, yeah, Jeremy, you can't stand MoFi. Actually, I think I remember that about you. I think you saying that. Have you tried the one step stuff? Some of the MoFi stuff I would agree with. There is some MoFi stuff that I just don't love. Sounds kind of flat to my ears. There's, not a whole lot of dynamics and punch, but that Santana, maybe I just got lucky. It's very good. New record day. I remember the hat you had with a cable company on that. Someone lost their mind. Yeah, and so so what it was is on the flight home, I was just reminiscing and thinking about everything, and I just mentioned like, "Hey, thanks for the hat." And I posted it in a YouTube video. I wore it in a YouTube video. That's what it was. Is like the next Frequency Friday, I wear the hat. And this guy sends me an email and he's like pissed off. He's really upset that Cardis Audio gave me a hat and not him a hat. And he's bought like all this, these cables and crap like that. Not crap, I'm sorry. Bought all this product from Cardis Audio. And he's mad at me that I got a hat from Cardis. I sent this to Angela, and she's just like, "What's his at? I'll send him a hat. Like, what's his address?" Like, we have extra hats. And it was just people are weird, man. I don't get it. I'm glad that none of you homies are like that. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Let me just see here. It'd be cool to see a video on reference recordings. I want some recommendations. Taylor, yeah, I need to do like my playlist, my official playlist. There's a lot of good gems in there that you guys would probably dig and enjoy. Um, looks like guys are just chatting amongst each other. Anybody have? We're at about an hour and 13. Let's do. It's 9:44 my time right now. I got to help Sarah feed the kiddos pretty soon. Let's do like another 10 to 15, somewhere in there. So shoot me some questions. I've sent Ron some classical recommendations, but I think he refuses to begin that engagement. Jeremy, I think I still have that. I'm sorry, man. I gotta go back to that email because I could see that you spent some time on that. So, I do like classical music, for sure. Um, and it doesn't even have to be like old school classical, anything modern classical, soundtracks, things like that. You guys know, is it Johan Johansson? Some guy, I think he unfortunately passed away from a drug overdose, but holy crap. You want to listen to some beautiful freaking music. It's not necessarily classical, it's more like soundtrack driven. And there is some classical elements in there for sure. Definitely strings and, things like that. But oh, man, highly recommended. Holy cow, beautiful stuff. Um, oh, is this Fernando guy being silly? Let me remove him. Put user in timeout. Ah, that feels cool. You're in timeout. Get out of here. All right, let's see here. Hopefully I removed the right guy. I just was like, oh, there's just whole bunch of weird comments from this dude. All right. Anyways, who's this Dua Floss person? Andika Dua Floss. What's going on with that? Is this a? Yeah. Okay. 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 Bye bye. Yeah, George, that is true. Good point. Yeah, most of that stuff is classical. Um, I would like top 20 of your best sounding LPs. Okay. I'll uh I'll consider that. I'll consider that. Let me just see here. 73 of you in here. Anybody have any other questions? Any stuff that I've gotten in for review or any videos that I've recently posted that you have questions about? Obviously, I did a whole bunch of stuff with the GR. I started feeling like this was the GR channel, so with Danny having his own channel, I think that's an appropriate move at this point. Um, I love Danny to death. He's a good friend at this point. But at the same time, I have to remember that there are other companies that want to work with me. And if I have just one guy on here, then that can make things a little bit tricky and a little bit difficult because then there's perception of, well, if we send Ron those speakers, he's just going to send them to Danny and then he's going to modify them and that's going to create a mess. And Danny knows this, I know this. And so we had to we had to be smart about that. Um, has your wife caught you caressing the Manleys yet? Maybe. Oh, they're so good. Jeremy, we got to talk about those, man. You know, it's like, I don't know if you were in here earlier, but I was just saying, like, here we are in 2020, and here's these amps with the ability to control the negative feedback 10 dB at a time. Why is that not on every single 300B amp? Like, what's your excuse? Because I love it. I freaking love it that I can just I they don't have to decide for me what I'm gonna like. I get to choose. And that could come down to your room. It could come down to the speakers. It could come down to a lot of different other factors. And oh man, whew, zero negative feedback. You want to hear what creamy tubes sound like. Oh, mamma mia. Oh, it's so engaging. It's so beautiful. Um, yeah. How do you know if your system is hi-fi? Who cares? Who cares? Hi-fi is just a word. I think I think the question that you need to be asking yourself is, do I enjoy what I hear coming out of my system? And if not, then do something about it. Start working on it and get to the point where you enjoy it. And at the point where you enjoy it, welcome to hi-fi. You've arrived. You're done. So, Gianni, nice show, but you ignored all my questions. I'm really sorry. It's actually kind of hard to keep up with the questions. I'm not trying to avoid your questions. If you want, you can ask again, and I'll make sure that I try to pay more attention. I apologize to you. New record day. What's the most expensive system you heard, and did it sound like that amount of money, or were you more impressed with a cheaper system? I've been more impressed with cheaper systems than really expensive systems as a whole, like as an entirety. I've heard many what I would consider like as okay, this is affordable. I've heard many of those systems that I could live with for the rest of my life. I'd put it that way. Um, I think that with a lot of the high ticket items, we can deceive ourselves about this all day long, but I think that we're listening with our eyes first. I think we walk into these rooms and we see all of this crazy stuff. We see speakers that are just monstrous and tube amps on the ground, and it's just grandiose and it's over the top. And so we've already made up our mind like, oh, this is what I need. How much is it, Bob? Oh, 2 million. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll take two. No, I think that, and I've mentioned this before, you got to just trust your damn ears. Like sit down and stop looking at stuff. And it's one of the reasons why when I did my soundstage secrets video is turn off the lights. And I got a lot of, I got some pushback being like, why do you have to turn off the lights? Because your eyes will deceive you. They will. It's the way we're wired is we see speakers way out into a room and we begin to panic. It's like you start thinking about practical things like my wife or my husband or my partner or my kids or my dogs or my fish. I can't have these speakers out here. Ron's crazy. I don't want to do this. No, like trust your ears. Like that should be numero uno, number one. And so when you start listening to affordable systems and you trust your ears and you just kind of turn off your eyes, you close your eyes, turn off your eyes, um, then I think that that's where the magic happens. And you start really hearing stuff that matters. And you're like, oh, this sounds incredible. I love this. What's going on here? You open your eyes, you're like, oh, this ain't crazy. Bob, how much is this? 5 grand for everything? Okay, cool. You know what I mean? So that's my thoughts. Um, let's just see here. Jeremy, thank you for mentioning that. For those that don't know, Jeremy is a really smart dude. I did a video where I mentioned Jeremy. He is the brains behind Folsom Audio, and he built these little chip circuit boards or how to manufacture for them. I don't know what the heck you did. I see. I'm not even that smart to figure that part out, but he knows what he's talking about. So there you go. Negative feedback will also prevent things from lighting on fire. As I asked Sean on Zero Fidelity, I'm going to ask you, what's your opinion on the Bose 901? Also love your channel and think the world of the DR Class D amps. I love them with a nice input stag. Hmm. Okay. Bose 901s, those are a speaker that I've always wanted to check out. I've never heard them. I would love to review them. If anybody has a pair of Bose 901s they want to send a new record day, I will review them. So it's that easy. Fluence RT85 turntable for getting into vinyl. With blue cartridge, you familiar? I'm not. I've heard good things about the Fluence turntables. I've never taken one for a spin, so I don't know. This flossing person, Indika, I'm going to put in timeout. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let me just see here. There was a person that was saying I was avoiding their questions, and I hope did I already pass their questions again? Um, oh, Jeremy, what negative feedback have you been liking so far? The way that I do reviews like this, with specifically like with these, is I start with one setting and I don't touch it intentionally. I want to get used to it. And so for me, I've actually started with zero negative feedback. So set it zero. There is no negative feedback that I've introduced, and I've been wrapping my head around that. Okay, I lie. I've moved it a couple of clicks just to see what's going to happen. And what I'm hearing is that what I believe is happening is it seems to me that there's less gain. And I think that perhaps the amplifier becomes a little bit more linear in nature. And I feel like I'm hearing a little bit more top end. That's what I think. But I'm going to shut my mouth and go back to zero negative feedback. I'm going to get very used to it, and then I'll start experimenting with that amp and see what happens. Let me just see here. Oh, you meant Danny Ritchie. Okay. I forget what you asked there. Hold on, let me just back up real quick. Oh, Voice of Reason. Hey, good to see you. Um, Also love your channel, and I think the world of Danny Ritchie, Class D. Okay, Danny Ritchie, I agree. I love Danny Ritchie. Class D amps, I have no problem with Class D amps at all. I do not poo-poo Class D at all. I'm totally fine with checking out anything Class D, and I remain open-minded. I think that they can sound good. So back due to many other parameters changing along with it, mostly for the worse. Okay. Andrew Robinson recently did worst listening demo story. I'd love to hear an NRD story about like the worst listening demo. Um, I can't. I can't because I think that I would probably really hurt some feelings, and I'm not that kind of guy. It's somebody that's still in the industry, and it's tricky because this is somebody that I actually respect. Like I'm like, hey, you're a really cool person, and it's not that there you do many things that I can appreciate, but they dabbled into speakers and they wanted me to listen to these speakers, and they put me in the room and they cranked it up, and it is the only I don't suffer from listening fatigue, but it is after that I actually got physically ill. Like I felt actually sick, like nauseous because it was like, what? What did you just do to me? It was awful. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I love my Grados too, but don't you have any other headphones? I've been using these for so long doing my voiceover work, like way back in the day when I used to do the voiceover stuff here at New Record Day with those reviews. I'm so used to these. It's like putting on a comfortable pair of shoes. I there is nothing that I ever hear with anything that I'm like, oh, something's wrong. So it's not even about are they the perfect headphone for this application? They're not. Like not closed back, they bleed. But I'm just so used to how I sound in them that I and they're comfortable. I can wear them for a long period of time. Some kit manufacturers have assembled versions. Just respect your reviews more than in-house comments. Your reasoning for not wanting to build a kit to review is the main reason for reviewing things. Okay. Yep. Um, yeah, Jeremy, you've been ousted. You have. Oh, this person is back. Put user in timeout. Hey, good night, Trey. Appreciate you, man. Purify is supposed to be the next thing in Class D. Purify is interesting. If I remember correctly, Bruno is the brains behind Purify, and I think that he's actually jumping into drivers. I saw some funky looking drivers that he's working on. Um, yeah, Ron, make people you trust into mods so they can get rid of the spammers for you. How do I do that? Add moderator. Jeremy, your wish is granted. You're a moderator. um, yeah. So the purifying stuff is interesting, and I guess we can talk about that. One of my favorite Class D amps of all time is the Encore NC 400s. I did those monoblocks years ago, and that is one set of monoblocks that I regret getting rid of. They're very clean sounding. They mean I don't think they have a whole lot of personality. You got to be careful about what you throw in front of it to kind of wake it up and get it to do some fireworks. But um, I think Bruno is a genius. Based on what I have heard so far that Bruno has been doing, I think that that guy knows how to wrangle Class D down to the ground and make it do some pretty amazing things. So I would not at all be surprised if, we get some great things out of Purify. I should reach out to them and be like, hey, send me some stuff. I'll put it together. I'll talk about it. Whatever, it'd be cool. Um, if you haven't heard of GaNFET Tech, it's some groundbreaking transistor science. I haven't three. Bruno Key 3 sounds pretty good, especially for the size of bookshelf speakers. I have heard that rig at shows, and I agree with you. I think it sounds great. All right, we're now in overtime. We're at an hour and 31 minutes. Still quiet out there. Sarah's still watching Office reruns. We're going to keep going. Floss it like it's hot. Hey, don't ban Eric Bernstein. He actually lives down the street from me. He's just being a dork. Eric, don't do that again. Actually, go ahead and kick him out of. I'm just kidding. Don't kick him out of here. Um, New record day for a beginner. What is a realistic amount of money to step into actual hi-fi sound? I answered this before, and I'll answer it again. I don't know what that means, and I'm not trying to squirm away from your question. Um, Hi-fi is just a word, right? And so, you know, experiment. Literally go to thrift stores. If that's your budget, go to I have found the Yamaha that I had that started the whole Yamaha versus Yamaha. I got that at a freaking Savers for 30 bucks and it ripped my head off. You can find stuff that is amazing. Will you find the greatest, best speakers at a thrift store? Probably not. So maybe explore do-it-yourself options. You know, that's if you're into that kind of thing. If you can build speakers, ELAC has a bunch of speakers that are very affordable that I like quite a bit. In fact, I think that the entire game of under $500 bookshelf speakers, it's been stepped up. So manufacturers are trying harder to like make stuff that doesn't sound awful. I think there's a lot of ways that you can get great sound without spending a lot of money. And at the point where you enjoy it, at the point where you like it, then welcome to hi-fi. So, let me just see here. Any experience with Chinese audio components like Audio GD? No. I remember Audio GD from back in my headphone days. A long time ago before I started this channel, I was really big into headphones and I bought headphone amps and it's just a I was trying to figure out life. And so I turned to headphones. Um, Josh Valor, if he's still in here, he's still trying to figure out life. And so he buys headphones. He'll figure it out. He'll come around. We'll get him some speakers and like, oh, so those were just toys. Okay, cool. How do you rate the Cord Cutest? Is it overhyped? I had the Cord Cutest for a short period of time and then it stopped working. While it was working, I liked what I was hearing. I thought it was a very clean sounding DAC and sounds nice. Yeah, I liked it. I have overhyped. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I I've been doing this long enough that for me, hype is just not something that I engage in. It's like it kind of gets boring after a while. It's like I didn't care about being last to review these. It's not a for me. It's not a contest. It's like I want to do it right. That's what's important to me. It's not about hyping them or getting the most clicks or any of that crap. It's like I want to do it right and I want to have integrity and try to bring up things that, you know, that we can rely on as okay, so there's some good and there's some maybe not so good. And I want to be able to be honest. And anyways, just a little rant. Paul, have a good one. Great to see you. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate you, bro. Hi-fi is the best that you make it. Just work your way up to what makes you happy. That's exactly it. It's spoken like a champion from the true voice of reason. So there you go. Who do you have lined up for guest interviews in the future, or who is your dream interview list? Um, I just talked to Greg. He does Volti Audio, and Greg Roberts, really sweet guy. We have a history. I've known him for a long time. I'm going to have him on very soon and do like a little chat, little Q&A about Volti audio speakers. I know that he's got some new stuff that he's working on. And if you're into horns and, you're able to spend, let's just say 10K or above that, um, yeah, yeah, you should at least hear his stuff. But he's a great guy. And what I appreciate about Greg is his cabinet work it's unmatched. It's unmatched. It's unbelievable. Let me just see here. Did someone say horns? Yes. Flea markets. Yeah, even like Goodwill, they got smart. They have like a online store for Goodwill, which is weird to say that. They have like an online store now. And I think that what they do is they actually have people that, pull the best stuff, grab the best stuff, and then they pull it and they ask like too much for the good stuff, which sucks. So I don't know if those days are gone of being able to just walk into a Goodwill or whatever and just be like, holy crap, why is that sitting here? And then you get to tackle somebody and grab it out of their hands. Um, but you might get lucky. Is hi-fi a bad word? No. No, it's just a word. Um I hate Goodwill for that. They went from supporting poor people who could score something, charging them max money. It's a bid system. Yeah, that is true. I'm not a big fan of that online store, and they're figuring things out to where now they can try to make as much money as they can. Um, I asked this earlier in the chat. You guys check out the tearing down of the S400s. Did you guys dig it? I'm thinking about doing these guys next. The Ultras. You guys want to see more stuff like that? It seems like that video is doing pretty well. Seems like people kind of dug that. And the more that I do that, kind of get into a rhythm, my confidence will, you'll see a bit more confidence. But I think as I walk through measurements, I got to be really careful. I got to be very careful with that because it's like, ooh, ooh. At the end of the day, it is Ron from New Record Day in my environment, and I have to remind myself that I'm not an expert. I've learned a lot. I know how to do it, but yeah. Frequency response plot was weird. Seems like the tweeter wasn't summing properly. Um, yeah, I know what you're talking about. The vertical off axis where you just see that dip there. Um, I talked to Danny a little bit about that, and it is interesting. And what's even more interesting, and I'll talk about this in the review, is I'm not really hearing a whole lot of negative effects that I would suspect is caused by that. I'm really not. And that's just the truth is I'm I'm trying to hear where is the bad in this and where am I going to hear it? And I don't know if I'm really finding it. I think that there's a reason why that speaker is so dang popular. And I think that it's checking off a lot of checks. It's like, yeah, okay, you want a smaller speaker. Okay, we can do that. Okay, you want a smaller speaker with really substantial bass. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, you want really great projection, with this waveguide. Yeah, we can do that. You don't want something that's super bright. Yeah, we can do that. It's like I feel like they're kind of figuring things out. So yeah. Um, your previous video can do it yourself. Speakers compete. Check this out. You never answered about the build. Um, there's a reason for that. I guess it's time to talk about that video. A dear friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, who I love very much. He's a dear friend. Um, he built those speakers and we listened to them and they did some amazing things for sure. But is many, many years ago, is before I knew anything at all about building speakers, crossovers, networks, measuring, nada. And while it did do some things amazing, there were some issues with that particular design, and it was phase cancellation. And you find that out later down the road that that design, so woofer in the front, tweeter open baffle, mid range on top, there's a reason why you don't see it. It's because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And many, many years ago, when I released that video, I knew of Danny and I talked to Danny, and he looked at it and he said, I could not do that. I couldn't I couldn't do that. And so he was intrigued as to what the heck this guy did. And when we measured it, we saw, phase cancellation and some issues. Was it still a fun speaker and did it do a lot of amazing things? Well, you saw the video. I mean, it did some amazing things, but there's a reason why I never pushed that or, hey, yeah, check out this is how you build it. Because the truth is that I don't think that you should. I don't think that you should build a speaker that right out of the gate actually has some fundamental flaws in its design. So, yeah. The video that drew me to your channel was Cheap and Cheerful Hi-Fi. Awesome. You've been around for a while. That is really cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. New Record Day, favorite audio company related article of clothing your own. How many clothes do you own with audio gear companies on them? I think I just have a hat. um, I think Part Time Audiophile gave me a T-shirt once for their podcast, but it didn't fit very well. I want my money back. They just gave it to me for free. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't wear like audio clothes or anything like that. Um, not for any reason. If Danny from GR sent me apparel, he doesn't have any, I would gladly wear that proudly because I believe in his products. Genuinely, I believe in it. For sure. Speakers, anyways, they're awesome. I have a Sennheiser shirt. Cool. Yeah. Awesome, man. Yeah, nothing wrong with Sennheiser. Great headphones. HD 600s are one of my all-time favorite headphones. Um, yeah, you know what? That's a good point. Building a speaker with flaws, absolutely, that is how you learn. Is okay. This doesn't work. Why? You start with the why. Why doesn't it work? And then you start to learn. And so, Um, I highly recommend the Tech Talk series for anybody that wants to learn speakers and rooms and things like that. All those videos are still on my channel. If you want to progress with Danny as he grows his channel, I would encourage you to do so. The guy is giving you free information and he knows what he's talking about. Um, yeah. All right, guys. Anybody else got anything pressing? I'm gonna give you guys a minute. Something you sold and later regretted. Um, yes, those in-core NC400 monoblocks. I regret that. Wish I didn't let those go. I miss them. They were fantastic. Hi. Hello, friend. All right, guys. It's getting pretty quiet. Probably a good place to stop. Hour and 45 minutes in. Want to stop in and just say hi? I appreciate you all. Cannot stress that enough. Really do. Thank you for watching all my videos. And we're going to see a trend. I think things are going to start coming out a little bit quicker. You guys are going to be happy with that. So it's my first Q&A. Will there be more? Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yep. Good night, everybody. Appreciate you. Stay safe. Listen to music. Vinyl only. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Good night.